But it's
Not to
worth
worry,
it.
this is one of the most beautiful places to be mixed up in. That's all it goes.
I'm going. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Come.
Okay.
Follow me. Is it running?
Yeah.
It's unreal. Is this the shortcut? This is the shortcut. No, that's gotta be the shortcut.
Just what Mickey? Señor. Señor.
What?
Don't walk off the bridge. Ah, capito perfetto. Siciliana. Look at the zucchero, sugar, neutral. Oh, that's diet sugar. Avvenido, the white of an egg, frutta fresca di Savignone. I want to get a picture of you. Huh? Go ahead, walk through the door. Bit.
To the village Martina.
We can do it like that. Go ahead.
We have here a statue of an angel making the first pizza. And here it is, the very first pizza maker. Let me tell you, she should have franchised it. Mamma mia.
Mickey, look at that. Ooh, let it blow over, let it blow over. I've never been here in the rain before. Has a certain charm. We have a busy day ahead of us. Let's hope the weather blows over. We're off to Verona and meeting our guide, and I'll tell you what my problem of the day is. Doesn't concern you. Is we get a message that the guide's not meeting us at the usual spot, and I have no idea where we're going to meet. But that's Dino's
There goes another
problem.
house.
And there goes Dino's. That's Dino's problem. We'll find her. We'll be having lunch together in a lovely restaurant in Verona, heading over to Padua, having a visit, and then getting into Venice around 6 o'clock this evening. Arrival will take leaving the coach at the train station, the central station, and then being transferred by boat to our Hotel Gonzal, and dinner at the hotel, and we'll see how it goes weather-wise, whether we'll be on, I'll take a gondola ride tonight or not. Needless to say, if it's this weather this night, I think I'll chance it for tomorrow. I haven't heard the weather report, but it's been so warm and humid. And the only thing I saw, but I didn't hear, was a picture of the satellite picture. And what's so annoying always for the students is when you never know when the grapes will have to be picked. And there are even many tours that come over for people to pick grapes for a few days. Believe me, the novelty of picking grapes lasts about 20 minutes at the longest. And you're paid to pick grapes for 3 days. But I must say, I have friends who have done it, and you're supposed to, you get wonderful meals and simple but nice accommodations.
One moment around the corner you will be able to see already the old castle, the Castel Vecchio, which has been built during the 14th century by the Scaliges, by the Lordship of Verona, but that's never been used as a proper residence, surrounded by a moat, which once upon a time was full of water, nowadays only full of plants and grass and nothing more. There are 7 corner towers, plus the highest in the middle on your left side with the antenna on the top, once seat of the prisons and often the chamber of torturations, nowadays only a little paper archive for the local trial. The so-called Scaligio Bridge, which once gave the chance to the inhabitants of this castle, I mean to the Scaliges, the Scala family, to escape over to Germany, crossing the river, in case of danger. Why to Germany? But because the Scaliges, the lordships of Verona, were in relationships with the German Empire, with German Emperor, thanks to several weddings that should have reinforced the political relationships between Verona and the close German Empire. On the left, that was the main entrance to the Scaligio Bridge, that we're gonna see later anyway, while the next bridge was the main entrance to the Weapons Garden, nowadays the main entrance to the Museum of Castel Vecchio. Old. In front of us, ladies and gentlemen, look, you can see one of the 2 Roman city gates of Verona. That's called Porta Borsari, here in front of us. That's only, anyway, the exterior side of the gate. Once upon a time there was a courtyard behind, in the middle, where the custom officers were standing, and more behind there are 2 arches making part of the interior side of the city gate, which once therefore was much wider than nowadays. And here, walled in these buildings after the Café Rialto, you can see these stone blocks belonging to the old Roman walls that once had to close the southern side of the river of the city. The Scaligio Bridge, which was built during the 14th century by Scaliges, and which gave them the chance to cross the river and to escape over to Germany in case of danger. That means especially in case of attack. Kilometers long. The longest is called the Po, 45 kilometers far away from here, but the Adige has nothing to do with Po. Comes down from the Alps at the borders, at the frontier with Switzerland, in southern Tyrol, flows through towns like Bolzano, Merano, Trento, Verona and Rovigo, and then it gets much more water than nowadays. I mean, nowadays much water is taken off from different canals, and especially used, for many times. Basta qua, va contromano sta mona, proprio scemo. Qui a sinistra. And now you can see behind the cathedral, on the top of a hill surrounded by cypresses, the Castel San Pietro, Petrus Castle. That's been because we live the jet society of Verona, we can say. The most beautiful houses of Verona are over here. Of course, the Italians especially live in these.
I don't believe she's going to get through this thing.
So, now here we are.
See, if you want to see where the arena is, you've got to look here in front of us. Exactly where you can see this red tower in front of us with a pointed roof on the top, close to the Adige. If we look at the roof of it, at the point roof, if you move with your pipe, lefty building with 4 large red arches, round arches. So you can see the roof, if you can see the roof. Anyway, later we're going to see its course, but from up here you can well see where the town has been founded 2,000 years ago, in the middle of a river. It was a very regular town with roads perpendicular to each other. The old Roman forum was exactly in the middle, where you can see the highest tower, half clear, half dark, about 84 meters high, the Lamberti Tower. It's close to the Juliet's house as well.
100 workers each factory anyway. Then marble, the red marble of Verona, and of course even shoes. A lot of shoes factories we get here. Anyway, we can say that nowadays Verona is nearly a rich town in a way. In fact, this area here, northern Italy, is one of the richest areas all over the world, maybe. So anyway, here in front of us you can already see the profile of the bell tower of the church Santa Anastasia, the second largest church of Verona after San Zeno. It's a Gothic church of the 14th century, which has belonged to the Scaligers anyway. That was their official church. It's completely made of red brickstone, even if, upon the wishes of the architect, it should have been completely dressed of white marble of Carrara, but it was never finished as there was no more money for that. It remained like that, so incomplete.
Conveyor to get it up on the second floor.
Through a break in the city walls. Semaforo destro e da qua in avanti facciamo la strada che in pratica lei deve fare oggi. E poi devo fare dritta di qua, esatto, sì. E si fa 1, 2, al terzo tornante c'è quella ingresso, quell'arco.
Oh, this is the old city wall.
Si arriva al ristorante.
For everyone.
In an apartment in a new building here in this quarter here, you can pay up to $2,000 or more. But if you buy in an older building in the city center, which has been already restored, which is already ready to be inhabited, you can pay up to 6 million of lira in the city center. That means about $5,000. And that costs, of course, per square meter, per square meter, excuse me, I'm talking about square meters, if not.
1 square yard.
So think of an apartment about 100 square meters. Usually these are the sizes of our apartments here. Sì, adesso le mostro la strada che è più comodo.
Well, for the city of
Here in front of you we got the Church of St. George.
My property is
St. George with the dome on the top by the local architect Michele San Micheli. Ecco, lei verrà su di là e praticamente girerà qua, dove c'è questa scuola qua, c'è questa strada qua, che noi non abbiamo preso perché adesso ci sono tutte le macchine degli insegnanti. Lei girando qui in pratica arriva subito là allo stop e poi gira a destra. Noi non l'abbiamo fatta perché adesso è pieno di macchine e... Questa è la strada che facciamo che dovrà fare lei, proprio di ritrovo, lungo l'Adige. Look at the bridge in the middle of the river, the stone bridge, which dates back to the 1st century BC. Originally to remain anyway only the two arches on the left, the other three arches on the right have been completely remade during the Middle Ages because of the floods. And even the hole in the middle was to enlighten the pressure of the floods, of the river water, in case of flood. In one moment you will be able to see here in front the Roman Theatre, which is the oldest building of Verona, together with the bridge. Look here around the corner on your left side, you can see the front scenery behind the stage, and which once made part of the theatre itself. No arena, that's only a lot of money. Lot of money to buy them and a lot of money to restore them. Adesso andiamo su dal ponte. So now the bridge, the so-called ship's bridge, Ponte Navi, as once came the ships, about to say the boats pulled by animals, walking on the two banks, river banks, and carrying a lot of goods, which were early Renaissance. Ecco, adesso noi giriamo qui ancora a destra e andiamo su fino a quel ponte bianco lì dove noi ci fermiamo e lì scendiamo. Poi lei poi trova un arco praticamente nelle mura, passa quest'arco ed è arrivato alla piazza della cittadella. E quello è il parcheggio dove loro arriveranno, io penso intorno a mezzogiorno.
Dall'altra parte dell'arena, no?
Sì, è dietro l'arena, praticamente dall'altra parte rispetto alle mura. Sì, bravo, esatto, del pullman. E lì in pratica i clienti arrivano. Poi lei fa la stessa strada a ritroso, passa di qua, passa il ponte, lì alla fine del ponte gira a sinistra e va su lungo il fiume. Mentre oggi, tornando giù, lei rifà quella strada che abbiamo appena fatto e prosegue dritto per andare all'autostrada. We're on the four sides. I mean, this tradition with these umbrellas on the top, that's very recent, dating back to the last century. Committees, when the whole population came all together to discuss about the problems of the town, administrative as well as economical problems. Well, they came with the mayor, who sat in this building here in the middle. He said they are covered with his council around to protect him. But what about the population? They had to stand here, the people. They couldn't sit down, here there were no chairs. So later was built the new city hall here in front of us, the old city hall, dating back to the 12th century. The facade here in front has been completely remade during the last century in neoclassical style. I mean, the old facade should have had the two colors, white and red, as you can see the base of the tower. And nowadays that's no more city hall, that's only a little local trial. See, from the arch here in front hanging, you can see a strange thing. So we don't have so many chances. And listen, have a look at this building here where the blown balcony is. That's one of the only remains canted buildings. Of course, the traditionalists be joking, of course, but you know what about truth? We don't know so much about them.
We don't have any documents testifying that it really existed. That doesn't mean that it didn't exist. Only then we can testify that, you know. Close to Naples. It was much larger once upon a time when there was the exterior ring that has fallen down, unfortunately, through an earthquake 1,000 years ago. And thereof have remained standing only those 4 arches behind of the so-called wing of the arena, because it looks like a wing coming up from the body of the arena itself. But if you look well on the pavement down here, you can see these wide square signs where once the pillars were supporting these arches. So they're all connected to each other, surrounding the whole arena. And they were connected to the arena itself through some vaults, of which you can still see here the beginning. So that was like a vaulted ceiling, therefore like a vault is the gangway surrounding the whole arena, made like that one behind. Even once upon a time there were 3 different corridors over each other, and once upon a time up to the top came the steps, where one could sit down altogether about 30,000 persons. No, that means more than the whole population of the city, entering into the arena through these vaults. There are 72 of them, which are directly connected with the interior side through some stairs, some vaulted corridors and some gangways, giving directly on the arena. Once lions and gladiators, but remember, nothing to do with Christians, as Christianity has arrived very late to Verona during the 4th AD, when Christianity had already become the official religion of the Roman Empire. So persecutions here in Verona we have never had. During the Middle Ages it was completely abandoned, and only 500 years ago it's been completely renovated. I mean, many steps were missing, that have been reset. And that's why the arena was already built outside the city walls. There was no more room inside. Where one of the brightest all over Italy was a great meadow where once the animal market should have taken place. Much later it's been completely renovated by Venetians. They built there behind those trees, the buildings dating back between the 16th and the 18th century, belongs to some of the most important families of the town. And there around the corner you can already see the new city hall. Nothing to do with the theater of
They're bringing it all in here.
Yeah, they're
The sun's gonna come out.
I still flavor. Yeah.
They were very...
Veneto, the Venetian region, isn't it? The most important towns, the biggest towns are Verona and Padua. Padua has got about 250,000 inhabitants. Even if Venice is the main town of the region, of course. So it's a little bit smaller than Verona is. But Padua is a very important town, especially concerning the Gothic painting. In Padua we have got the most important frescoes of the 14th century of Europe. Thank Giotto and his school. Not only Giotto but also his school. And the most important monuments we have got in the town are the Scrovegni Chapel and the Basilica of St. Anthony. Of course, Padua is known, is very famous all around the world as the town of St. Anthony. And in Padua we have got the big sanctuary where is buried St. Anthony. The shrine of St. Anthony, we have it in our basilica called Patavium. So we had the first Venetian inhabitants, and then in the Roman time we had the town called Patavium. Patavium was a rich Roman town with an arena, with a theater, with therms, aqueducts, and the Roman town with about 30,000 inhabitants, very big for those days. A little bit smaller than Verona itself. But unfortunately in Padua we don't see much about the Roman town because it has been destroyed completely by the barbarians and especially by the Longobards in the year 602. Completely destroyed. And then slowly they built up the town again on the same place as before, using the Roman stones they were on the ground. Roads, very narrow I must say, and plenty of arcades. It's typical of Padua, like of the town, with 84 statues representing us the most important citizens of the town. Prato della Valle, here at the Roman age used to be a theater, completely destroyed. And to the left there is Santa Giustina, the big basilica dedicated to the Saint Justina, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest church of Padua of the 15th, 16th century. Saint Justina, Santa Giustina. Look how beautiful is this square. All around we have got beautiful buildings going from the medieval to the last century. We shall see the facade of our basilica. Soon we shall go off from the bus to be able to visit the Basilica of St. Anthony. Subito scendiamo, apposta scendo di là perché lei si ferma dopo la fermata. Se arriva un vigile la manda via, lei fa il giro, tutto a sinistra. No, è proprio l'altra parte che è chiusa. Now I must know at what.
Yeah, we're practically.
The leader straight over towards our left hand side, at